Hello, welcome to Math 2413, Calculus 3 with Professor Smalley, Summer 2016, Session 2. Alrighty, so I'm going to give you a little walkthrough of what's kind of going on here, and hopefully that will kind of put your mind at ease, because usually the biggest question is, what do I do to get started, especially if it's the first online course, because different courses can all work differently. So I'm just giving you how mine works. That's all that matters right now for you, I guess. So let's give it a whirl. So logged in D2L looks a little bit different from the student perspective. I could go into student mode and just kind of show you. First I have to pick the course, which is now active. I've already posted a little, was hoping to get this video done before midnight when the course opened. So that's why I made this announcement to let you know that a video, if somebody is already up at midnight looking to see what's going on, more power to you. But most people can then wake up and, watch this tomorrow when it's convenient for them. Yeah, you watch it at your convenience. That's one thing about this class. There's never any specific times that you have to be online. So with that being said, so I guess I'll change this over to student for a minute, and I'm going to change it back to. If you've never taken an online class, you're going to have to you take some sort of silly little quiz or something. I've never actually even seen it. I ought to try to sit with a student one time and watch what it's all about. I think you have to make an 80 or better on it. It's not a math quiz. It's just, I guess they want to see if you're competent enough to use a computer. I don't know, but once you do that one time, you should be set. So the main things for you, I'm not sure what that start button does, but I see everything we need right here at the top. Content, assessments, and then grades. And grades is just strictly to see what your grades are. But the content and the assessments, and then news items. Obviously this class moves fast, and if there's anything I need to tell you, I will make the announcement right here in news items. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my perspective here so I don't mess this up. And then, also important, this was also in the student over here to the right, this calendar, very, very important. Pay attention to this, showing you when deadlines, certain deadlines that need to be met. So keep your eyes open on that too. Now I'm going to go into content, which is kind of the heart of where everything is, except for the assessments part. Now, one thing I mentioned, I'm going to show you through this. I'm going to make a couple of changes and things. I don't have the entire course ready, but I've got plenty to keep you going for now, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. We'll go through the syllabus real quick, and obviously that's going to sit right there. So I call it syllabus, textbook, and other items. So that's kind of, I call that, syllabus, and then other stuff I put in there. I have a 9th edition, old edition of the Larson textbook as a PDF file if you'd like to look at that. These are just practice problems if you want to do them. They're not required. I'll show you what's actually required. Here's a formula sheet that shows you. And if I feel like we need a unit circle or something for any reason, I'll provide that also. This shows you what kind of stuff's going to be given, so that way you have this as a rep. You don't bring it with you to the test; it will be given to you, so you'll know that you have this. So that way you can look over this and go, "Oh, what am I going to be given? Not be given?" This tells you, shows you exactly the formulas that will be provided for you. This is how to enter a quiz in D2L. You can look at that, see what's going on. Here's a trig sheet. Like I said, if there's anything I think that involves unit circles or trig identities. Now, this is not trig derivatives. You still need to know your basic trig derivatives. The derivative of sine is cosine, cosine is negative sine, so forth and so on. You want to make sure you show those. This tells you how to review quiz and exam stuff. I'll talk about that briefly too. But you can always come back and read that file, and it shows you how to do it. I'm not sure what all the D2L resource for students, Khan Academy, I guess, can lead you to the videos you might want to watch there. This testing center thing, I might want to check. I might need to repost that because it could be, might need to be updated. It might not be current, so I'll have to check that out. And then this is a website that takes you to the where it shows you the solutions for the odd problems in that book, how they're done. It's sort of like you maybe had classes before where they had, like, you can get a printed solutions manual. This is for free. It's only for the odds, though, so you could at least, you can use that, but it's a web link to that. So so let's go into the syllabus. Okay, let's look at the first page. Hopefully I don't have any typos. Sometimes I'll have a typo on these things. And let's see. There's my name. That won't be on the test. Best way, have an office phone. You can talk to me, send me an email, and that way I can arrange a time. If you just kind of like randomly call me, you're probably not going to find me there. But either you can email, if you're in D2L and you want to email me from D2L within D2L, or if you're at an email address and you want to send it to this richardg.g.smalley Lone Star, either one of those, I'll see them both. No problem. Summer 2, 2016. Obviously, classroom and days doesn't apply. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Learning outcomes. I'm not going to read this, of course. You can read that if you want to. Course materials. You can use like a scientific or graphing calculator, although I do put on the instructions, I don't want anything that can do any algebraic stuff, so I always put on the test, at least for the proctored test, not to allow 89s or TI Inspire CAS or things that can do symbolic notation. My math lab's not required, but perhaps if you have come from a calculus where you've used my math lab fairly recently, and as long as the book is still supported by them, I could set up a blank course for you. You say, like, I use the Thomas book as an example here. I could set up a blank course for you, if that way, if you wanted to have access just to my math resources, because if you've already purchased a code for that book, you can still use it again for that book. So I could just make up like a blank dummy course just to give you access to the book and whatever materials you want to use from there. So you would just have to let me know about that. Like I said, you can use any book. It's not book dependent. I just have that PDF file. I have that book, and the way my lecture notes are set up are based on Larson book. But being that you're taking Cal 3 and you're very bright people, I'm sure you could use any kind of book and just kind of look at the section titles and see how they fit. So I don't see any reason for you to have to necessarily really go out and buy a textbook. I was mentioning Khan Academy again. There's that Calc chat that I talked about. That was one of the links there under the syllabus folder. All right, let's see. How do we get a grade in this class? That could be interesting. Homework not required. Although these quizzes, now the quizzes actually, and I'll go into D2L and show you that after we get out of the syllabus, they're more like, really like homework. I almost keep wanting to rename these as homework number 1, homework number 2, because the quiz name is a little bit misleading because you're not taking them as an active test. I have the PDF files posted, so you work those problems. They're multiple choice, and then you go into D2L and submit your answers. So it's almost like really submitting homework more than it is, but I haven't gotten around to change the name of them, so they're still called quizzes. But they're not, most people, when they would think of quiz, they would be something that, like when you take an exam or something where it's in real time, so to speak. So like I talked about, so what'll happen, I'll show you more about that, but you don't open the quiz until you're ready to submit your answers. But the PDF file's in a separate location. Exam 1 is take home. 2, 3, and the final will be required to be taken in a proctored testing center. If you're going to be out of town for a bit or somewhere, you'd have to kind of get with me and let me know, and so it needs to be in a center place that I approve of. Not in the top of a mountain, in the middle of the forest somewhere. Um, like other colleges and other towns, have testing centers, but they automatically are sent out to every Lone Star testing center in the district. So I often get questions about that. Go, hey, you live at UP, but I'm at Kingwood. Do I have to drive over there? Absolutely not. They will automatically. But anything that requires, if you were using, for example, the Texas A&M testing center, you've got to get with me on that, and so I can get everything set up with them. And keep in mind, outside testing centers at other places will charge you a fee. I mean, maybe there's some that don't, but most of them will. But any Lone Star testing center it's not a fee if you're taking a Lone Star course. But so just keep that in mind. But obviously, if you're far enough away, the fee would probably be worth it. So get with me, please. I mean, the first exam's take home, so we got a little time, but it's such a fast-moving class. It really, you'll have to get on that quick if you're going to let me know. Okay, now there's 8 of these quizzes. I'm dropping 3. So I'm going to take your best 5. So if you have they don't have to all be hundreds, of course, but hypothetically, if you had 500s, your quiz average would be 100. If you had 400s and a 90, I believe that would be a 98. That forms what we call the quiz grade. Now, what I do is combine average the quiz score with that exam 1, which is a take-home. And that take-home is going to be like the quiz. You're also going to have the problems in advance versus taking an exam, in real time. So it'll be the same thing as a quiz. Basically, you'll be working the problems, and then you submit your answers. So all that take-home stuff is basically lumped together. But that exam 1 will count half of it. So just let's say if your quiz average was 100 and you made a 96 on exam 1, I would average those together to give you a score of 98. That score. Then the other exams then count as their own individual scores, and the final's mandatory, but one of those first 3 score values would be dropped. So let's say I'll use that 98 for an example of combining the exam 1 with the quizzes. Say that was a 98. Let's say you made a 90 on exam 2 and an 80 on exam 3. Then I would drop the 80, and then the final has to count. So, but keep in mind, you can't get away with doing just the exam or the quizzes. You must do both. Technically you could do neither if you just want to let those other 2 exams count, but I don't recommend doing that. But theoretically it would work, but because you kind of want to have that easy take-home grade in case you have a bad day on one of these other 2 exams. So I wouldn't try to get too cocky and then blow that other stuff off. Plus, the exam 1 material is also going to be on the final, so it'd be good to kind of learn that. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. So just keep in mind, you can't do the quizzes or exam 1. You must do both. But then that does allow you some flexibility with exam 2 or exam 3 being dropped. So here's the grade. So it's equally weighted. So at that point, it becomes the best 2 out of those 3. Like I use the example of the 98, 90, and the 80. So if your exam 1 combined with your quizzes was one of the better scores, and then exam 2 was the next best score, I would drop exam 3, and then we count the final, and then they weigh 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, equally weighted. So you just add those up, divide by 3. Now this printed stuff here, before I started making these videos, I'm not going to read through this. You can read through that, but this is what I used to do to help people get started. I figured there was no point in deleting it, but I figured there's no point in me reading it since I'm kind of explaining all this stuff here, so, okay. And then the rest of the syllabus just has, your standard required materials that every syllabus has to put in there for legal purposes. So that's the syllabus. Now let's just hop around here. So, click around and see what looks fun in here. Notes. I have some old notes if you needed to look at, review anything. I don't think you're going to need a lot of Cal 2 in this class. I'm not going to use a lot of complicated, maybe integration. I think there might be integration by parts might have pop up once or twice. I try to avoid trig substitution. I think there's maybe a little bit of trig integration that we learned in Cal 2. But anyway, these notes are there for you to refer back to. But obviously the basic derivative and integral stuff from Cal 1 is very crucial. Now, of course, some of the stuff that we do in our Cal 1 might have been in your Cal 2. So when I say Cal 2, I'm talking about Lone Star's Cal 2, at least the way we do it at University Park, the way we're supposed to do it. So here's just some notes. I have them also in Windows Journal format, but the other ones are PDF. Let's see. But you come in here, so this kind of, so even if you're using a different book, I'm gonna update these notes since I've been teaching a face-to-face class this summer. Sometimes I modify and make a few changes, so I'll probably go through here in a little bit and repost these. They should all probably say summer 16 on there. That's how you can tell if I've reposted it or not. But so you see, it's grouped by exams. You know exactly what except with one exception to that. I think I might tweak exam 3 a little bit and then add a couple of sections down here at this last part. But anyway, I'll make so I'm probably going to do that, but I will absolutely, make an announcement when that happens so that you know it happens. So I'll say, hey, okay, I've added this down here or whatever. So, that's what I was talking about earlier when I said the course isn't quite 100% complete yet, but it's plenty enough to get you going. So that's how you know what sections will be on each test. So I have the notes. Let's come down here. What was I looking at here? I'm going to be adding, I'll let you know when this happens too, I'm going to add some videos for some of the stuff that's later in the course, the multiple integration. I don't know if I can stay on pace with you this quick if I start from the beginning, so it's better if I jump ahead and do that and then try to work my way backwards, because that's the stuff that that kind of needs more explaining, I think. You'll probably be surprised at the beginning of this course how kind of easy it is, so it'll pick up a little bit down the end. I'm sure many people have told you Cal 3 is probably easier than Cal 2, but the multiple integration gets pretty. So once we get about 13.8 down here, 13.8 and on starts getting kind of interesting. So that's where I'm going to focus videos on there. And if I can go back and make others, I will. But that's where I want to put my primary focus on making videos. But I do have some from a colleague of mine that you're welcome to take a look at. Her name's Rachel Smith. She's made some videos. These are from the past. Now, I do believe that they come from something that Lone Star used to support years ago called Panopto. Well, long story short, I think you're going to need to be in Firefox to open these up. There may be an exception to that, but I've made some videos like this for other subjects, and they had to be open like Firefox. So keep that in mind. But you may find something else that works. But I'm in Chrome right now. I guess I probably should have opened Firefox to show you. And I don't think it's going to, like if I click on one of these, I don't think it's going to like it. But even if you're in Firefox, yeah, it's going to tell you how to, it'll ask you, though, enable Silverlight. This one's, I don't know if it's going to do anything if I click on it or not. I don't think. All right, okay, never mind all that. In Firefox, you should just have a thing where it says enable Silverlight and it'll do it. It will pop up. So, but there might be other browsers. So I'm not saying it's only Firefox, but I don't think Chrome or Internet Explorer are going to get the job done if you want to look at those. Now, when I make mine, they're going to be YouTube, so you should be able to look at them any way you want. So, but just want to keep that in mind because that's usually the biggest. I can't get these to work, and there's nothing I can do to make them to work. Nothing. I don't have any magic powers or anything other than say, make sure you're in Firefox. I don't know whether you're looking at it on a phone or tablet. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I have no idea. So I'm kind of ignorant on that. So, but that much I've learned is not Chrome or IE. Try Firefox. Okie doke. So we saw it in notes. I'll come over here. I guess I didn't kind of finish that, but click on. Here we go. Okay, I'll just click on some random section here. Those PDF files, they should pop up with no trouble. There you go. So it looks like fun. I think you can download that then into a full-fledged PDF file so you don't have to scroll down in this window. There we go. You're not required to do any 3D graphing in this class, but I like to stick some maple things in there just because there is a lot of 3D stuff in this class, and just to kind of give you a visual so you can see things that we do, but that kind of graphing will not be required. So there's the notes. And okay, now this chapter, there's stuff in this book, in chapter 15, this book, vector field. See, exam 1, 2, and 3, then the stuff after that, this vector fields and line integrals, are questions that will appear on the final, but they're not on exam 1, 2, or 3 notes. So that's why I have them as their own little topic there, because they're part of the course, but they're not part of the exams except for the final. All right. Lecture videos. Okay, we've gone through that first folder. We've now gone through this. Okay, let's talk about quizzes and exam 1. Now, as you saw me say in the syllabus, I said there were 8 quizzes. There's only 5 here, and I realize that 8 doesn't equal 5, and that's what I was talking about. I need to do some modification in those later quizzes, so I'll work on those probably this weekend. And but you see, there's, I mean, unless you were planning to finish this course in 3 or 4 days, you'll have to wait for me. But theoretically, once I get everything open up, you can work at your own pace. You can finish it early. I'm kind of kidding about 3 or 4 days, but I mean, even though I meant to have everything ready right now, I still have a few more things to get working on here. So I've never had anybody that's wanted to finish it in 2 days before. But anyway, so you come in here, and this is true. This will be true for all the quizzes and only exam 1. So exam 1 pops up. There's a PDF file. So what you do is you'll go through here, take your time, answer your questions, mark your questions down, and then you'll submit. I'll come over here to assessments, and I'll come back to that. And over here, there's exam 1. I guess from your point of view, it'll say something about begin exam or something like that. This is not how you'll see it. But anyway, you'll see it's begin exam, and you'll go through and you'll just click on the answers. Now be careful. I don't do this on purpose, but I have seen situations where the answers scramble. Let me just make up something. I don't want to go back to that actual test and then be confusing. Well, let's say the answer to a problem was supposed to be 2 pi, and you know it's 2 pi, and that's correct. And let's say on the paper quiz it was letter A, and for some reason it got scrambled and it was letter C on the answer choice. Well, if the answer is 2 pi, you pick 2 pi regardless of what letter position it ends up in. So just be careful as you're. I mean, I usually give you a couple hours to do this, but it's probably only going to take 10 minutes, because remember, once again, on this exam and any of the quizzes, you do not open this file up until you are ready to enter your answers, because you do the work on the PDF file and then you come in. There's no need to open this quiz up. Restrictions, I don't know what, let's see what I have on here. 120 minutes. And it's probably going to take you 5 minutes because you would have already done all the problems. But that way, you can't be mad at me because I made you do it so fast that gives you time to look real carefully at the answer choices, to be real careful as you're marking them. You don't have to feel like you have to rush through there. Okay, so that's the way exam 1 will work, and then every quiz will work that way. Okay, so here's quiz 1. Open that up. Now all the quizzes have 10 problems each. I make them all where they're 10. I don't know if they all tell you, if everyone tells you which sections they are. This one does. Quiz 1, 2, and 3, I know go with exam 1. You can tell by the deadlines. If I have them all due at the same time, that means they're kind of related all to the same exam. So every one of them are 10 problems. So once again, you work these out. You come up with, once you're done, you have all your answers, and you go back to other assessments and then quizzes and pick the one you want. Then you go through and mark your answers. So I cannot emphasize enough that you do not open the assessment file until you are ready to submit your answer. So like I talked about, it's not like you're opening the file and you're taking a real-time assignment like you will be with the other exams, which I'll show you here in a minute. That's different. You will open that up on the spot. All right, so we're doing great there, but like I said, that's not quite completed. I still have 3 more quizzes to get in there for you. I'll come back over here to the assessments, and same thing obviously here too. I have exam 1 ready. I have exam 2 ready. I'll get exam 3 and the final ready over the weekend. So that way I'll open them up. So that way, you can do them whenever you want. But you have to meet the deadline though. But I'll open them up so if you do work, say you finish the course in 3 weeks, you can do that if you want to. Because once they're all opened up, but they all have deadlines. See the first 3 quizzes. Now this deadline, like it says 11 p.m. So obviously you don't want to wait till 11 p.m. for all 3 of them. But I think I put 60 minutes on the quizzes. But good grief, they're just 10 problems that you've already answered, so it's probably going to take 2 minutes to do it. But as long as you get into it, open it before 11 p.m. As long as you open it by then, you'll still have the full 60 minutes to do it once it's open. These are the time that you have to open them by, not shut them off. So theoretically, you open them by 11, then it's done at midnight. But you see that the difference here, so all those, this exam 2 has that little lock right there on it. And that's what exam 3 and the final have a little lock on it, meaning they are password protected. So that's what the whole idea of the assessment center is. They will enter the password and open it up for you, and then you'll take the test. Now the test will be multiple choice online, but I'll instruct them that you are allowed scratch paper, of course. You're allowed to work. You don't have to submit your work, so you can do it in pink pen if you want to. I don't need to see it. You're the only one who has to read it, because you'll just mark your answer from what you've done, and so you don't have to be organized. You can be sloppy. And I always allow a lot of time, like I think about 4 hours, maybe even longer for the final. About 4 hours I allow for these tests. But be sure you get to your testing center. I always try to recommend not waiting till the last day if you can, but I don't pressure people as much in the summer because it's already moving so fast. But in the long semesters, I try to say, please don't wait till the last day. But, first of all, never go there within an hour of closing. They will not issue a test, but that would not be wise to only allow yourself an hour anyway when you're allowed, so get there probably about 4 hours before closing. I could just check this one out real quick here. See what restrictions are. I might change to see 720 minutes. That's kind of a typo. Well, actually, maybe I'm setting this up to where it can be an all-day event. I don't think you're going to want to sit there 12 hours, but maybe I will knock that down a little bit. Nobody's ever going to be there that long. That's 12 hours. That's kind of crazy. But at that point, if you were stuck on a problem, you'd probably just bubble it and quit. I know I would. So anyway, yeah, those have to be unlocked by password, and they'll do that at the testing center. So I don't have all of it. So you'll see 3 more quizzes, and you'll see exam 3 and the final will all be in this folder right here. All right, let's go back and see what else we need to take care of. Should be getting close to getting done here. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Oh, okay, we have this information for you. Sample problems, and then I have worked out solutions. I'll make an announcement in case I edit these for any reason. I may say, hey, guess what? These have been edited, or any file that's edited, I'll let you know if anything's changed. But so these are just practice problems. And then so you open that up, and that way if you want to try these and see if you can get the answer yourself, you should have the key at the end of this. Yeah, there's the work. Well, that's just the answer key, but then also I have my, so the solutions mean me working them out. Let's see what we have here. There we go. Well, some of those didn't take too many steps, but yeah, there we go. So it's just me working them out, but that way you can try to get the answers first, and for anything you get stuck on, you can come here. So let me, think, as far as, I guess the general strategy I would offer is just any combination you want of, because obviously I've shown you the mandatory stuff, but people think, well, what should I do? And that's a very good question. Well, if you have your own book or that book that I've provided online for you is fine. Between combination of book notes, the videos I've already posted from that other professor, videos that I add, or any videos that you find on your own, maybe at Khan Academy or elsewhere, that might be a good way to proceed. So I don't have what I can, a clear cut plan of attack. I let, everybody can. I don't think I put anything in this folder. You can approach it where they want, way they want. But I would, like I said, you could try my notes and then try some practice problems, see if that's good enough, and go to the book. Then if you need further help, go to the video, or you can start with the video. And I know that's not very organized. I'm kind of spinning you around all over the place here, but I think nothing's in here yet. So yeah. But anyway, I guess so. You just kind of take whatever, you just kind of start out what works best for you as far as going through this. And obviously email me if you have any questions and anything. So, and I'll keep you posted. I'll make announcements as far as updates and things. And so you can see back in here when the deadlines, at least for the stuff I have open there. So those first 3 quizzes are July. I like to do those quizzes because then I make them available for view. Oh, I know one thing I want to say. And then you also can read this, and it tells you how to view your quiz submissions and stuff. So that's why you read that file if you forget what I'm saying right here and don't want to watch this video again. I don't blame you. But you might think, hey, okay, I took this quiz. I'll just go over and click it whenever, after. You can't view first of all, you'll see your grade. It'll tell you your grade, and it'll go into the grade book. But you cannot view your quiz until after the deadline. I just that way so people, obviously people share information. I can't control that, but I prefer people not having the automatic answer key. If they were their own answer key, that's different. But you'll click on that and nothing's going to happen. But about a couple of minutes after this deadline, you'll be able to go in there. Now we won't see it here, but you'll be able to click on and say view submission or view submission, something like that, where it says view submission or submission, something or another. That's going to mean it's going to take you to what you turned in. But if you just keep clicking this quiz thing, it's not going to do anything if you've already taken the quiz. It's over. So, but that sometimes confuses people. But that you won't be able to see which ones you missed or right after the deadline. So I usually have these due like the day before, the exam. So these are all due at 11, and then the exam would be due at. I know that's kind of bad. You don't get to see which ones you miss. I guess if you don't, unless you waited till the last day to take the test. But unless you could always, I guess, if you ask me something, I might share information on a problem or two if it was bothering you. But I want to give you as much time as possible to do these things too. So right here, I got a little more time here. Quiz 4 and Quiz 5 relate to exam 2, and I have those ending on the 4th, but I have the exam on the 8th. I wonder if I should maybe back those 2 quizzes up a day or something. I might go back to the 24th on those. So just keep an eye on the calendar. So I think I might go back to the 24th to have another little day break between those quizzes and then turning in the exam 1. So, but just look over in the calendar. I don't normally, only because we're just starting the course now, but I generally wouldn't move things backwards very often. But I figured first day, it's not going to hurt anything here. So. Okay, with that being said, I think that, let's see, kind of covers everything. So I wish you the best. I usually have a pretty good success rate in this class, surprisingly, for being online and short term. People seem to be very highly motivated to knock this out, and then that always bodes well. So people do well. Obviously it's not a complete giveaway. You got to put the work in, but like I say, people have done very good in this class, so I'm sure you will too. And best of luck, and let me know if you need anything. The end.